which is a gift.
And we started that.
Amazingly, we didn't know these places existed in the 1920s. The reason we didn't know is nobody could get there.
Let's see.
Even today, it's one hell of a... So, here's a new Hartfield. How do you know that? Well, I heard about that from Scotch.
And
of course, if you have a helicopter or a plane. But to go from the nearest to Hedges,
good morning. Good Monday morning.
Yeah.
Let me get the link
100 kilometers takes you
and share. Hopefully everybody had a good weekend.
what we call the open desert. Yeah. I wish I had more time in the States. Because the open desert is something that's what?
Let's see. Get the link on over post and share. Oh, look at that. Change the title. Good. What is the title of the day? Playing with part of the day. Playing with part of the day. Playing with part of the day. And make sure I didn't spell anything wrong. Actually, I don't care. If you would not. Say it the right way. No, before I do that, let me share this out to page. Although all this is, humanity is one organism, which is okay. That's okay. Humanity is one organism, and it just doesn't show right, which is okay. Not a problem whatsoever.
If you read Black Genesis, which I hope you will, it's just been launched.
I didn't copy it. Hang on, I'm gonna get there. Playing with part of the deck. Would you play cards and the deck didn't count up right? Would you? That's what I want to know. Would you actually play cards with a group of people? How many cards are in a card deck? I haven't played cards in a long time. How many cards are in a deck of cards? Would you play with people knowing that the game is rigged? Most people do. Most people do. I'm gonna put that right there. And share to one more page. Hopefully everybody had a good weekend. Hopefully. Turn that off. Who is that? Robert Bouval. I was listening to, he was talking about Egypt. He was speaking on, I don't really have a life. I listen to lectures all day, which is fun. It's fun and entertaining and educational. But he was talking about the pyramids, the name of this video, the prehistoric origins of ancient Egypt. He was talking about how the pyramids are all focused towards Orion, or the Great Pyramid, where we came from. Oh, I asked that question this morning. Ask that question. Let's go back to my thread, see if I can find. Yeah, who are we? What are we? And where do we go from here? Very important questions. Every generation needs to ask that question. Who are we? What are we? And where do we go from here? And maybe the first question is, are we a we? Are we a we? Are you a you? That's the biggest problem we have, I think, because people still think they're we's, and subhumans. So no, I don't want to get, I know somebody already posted Anunnaki. Who is that? Lola? So it's going to head into a fun, I don't want to do that. I don't want to do that. I want to talk about playing with a deck of cards, because this is where I think we don't go, right? The question is, where do we go from here? And where do I don't think we go? Is we stop playing cards with shysters and shenanigan focused folks. Like if you sit down, like think about it like this. Y'all know me, I'm not interested in voting. I really don't care about who y'all run for the elections. Don't try to get me to cheer anybody. I'm done with your slavery. I'm done being led. I'm done having leaders. I'm done being a slave. I'm not interested in your leaders or your government. You know, we talked about solutions earlier this morning. So what do we do? Well, first thing you do is you stop voting for killers and psychopaths and war criminals. You learn that slavery or accepted slavery is a bad idea. And maybe, just maybe, we'd stop playing cards with people tricking us. It's, I guess the analogy I have is that I feel like we sit down and play cards. Everybody sits around the table, and you got a government that's lying to you. You got a government that has classified information, top secret everything, and you want to start to play cards, and you know the card deck is wrong. How many cards in the deck of cards? 27, 26? You count the cards, you find 19. You know somebody's cheating, but you still play anyway. Why? Why would you play with people playing you? Why does that make any damn sense? This is why I'm not a voter. This is why I don't care about voting. I'm not interested in it. It's stupid. Why would you keep playing with people tricking you? 13 families, 100 families, running every damn thing, and all we can do is just keep playing the game. Just keep playing the game. Sit down, baby. Teach your kids to sit at the card table and play cards with people not even being honest. Like I was talking to somebody this weekend. Let me change the music. And we were talking, of course, the whole climate change thing came up. And I got the same perspective. But you know what? The funny thing was, this guy was an IT guy. He was kind of like me. And it was interesting because we got on the same page, which is why I explained to him JFK, LBJ, what they talked about. And I'm not interested in having a discussion with you on climate change. Not unless you've done your homework. Until all the cards are on the table, it's not a discussion. It's a rigged card game. If you've got a government that says climate change is the problem, but they got secrets around geoengineering, that's not a discussion. That's not a card game. That's you getting played. It means you're sitting down with the table at a table of jokers. A table of jokers, and the solution can be anything but what takes from their profit. Why would you sit down and have a discussion with people only bringing part of the data to the conversation? Part of the cards. So that's kind of, where my mind's at this one. How's everybody? Y'all have a good weekend. Do you feel that society's becoming divergent? I think it is. I'm finding it harder and harder to talk to people who watch the news and believe it. Not watching the news, people who believe it. I'm finding it harder and harder to talk to those people. I'm like, my God, society is really divergent. We don't even have a frame of reference because everything they refer back to and what's true in their world or what's important comes from the billionaires' news, and that's just nonsense to me. Why would you? You're playing, they got a stack deck, and you believe everything they say. That drives your day. The funny side effect of not watching the news that I'm noticing is the things that are important to me aren't important to billionaires. Anybody else noticing that? The things that are important to me now, they're not what's important to billionaires. What's important to me is what's important to my kids, what's important to my friends, what's important to local community and what's happening around here. I'm not interested what's happening in another country. I'm not that I don't care, but I can't affect that. Right? And that's what I think this geopolitical news thing is for, this massive media thing we have, is to get you caring about what the billionaires care about, and I don't really care about what they care about. I don't. Good morning, everybody. How y'all doing this morning? Did my inviting. Thank you, Lori. Appreciate it. Appreciate it. Let me see. Good morning, Trisha. Got my Lori notification. That's what we call it. Lori notification. She notifying people. Lori is on the job. Thank you, sis. Thank you. I really appreciate that. Let me see. Isn't it called 32 pickup? Is it 32 cards? Let me change the music. Is it 32 cards in a deck? I haven't played cards in a long time, so I don't really know. I'm just if it's 32, isn't the right thing to do when you sit down to play, say, okay, well, let's count the deck before we play. I get that you want to play cards with me. I might need an image to refer back to here, because it's they tricking you. You sit down and let's count the cards. Is it 32? Is it 52? No, it's 50. What y'all doing with me? Y'all making stuff up. Y'all Democrats and Republicans making stuff up. You want to count the cards. Let's say it's 32 for the sake of argument. If you count the cards and everybody's sitting down at the table and you've got, hang on, I got a picture from a movie. Let me see. Where is this at? This is right here. And you count the cards and you realize, damn it, it's only 28 cards. We're not going to play. I ain't going to play with you. I ain't going to play. You said it wrong. Somebody said it wrong. Let me see. 52, 13 books and spades. Susan, I have no idea what you're talking about. I have no idea what you're talking about. I haven't played cards. We used to play I Declare War and spades, and we played some weird games, but I don't know how many. So if you sit down with people and you want to play an honest game of cards, you sit down with billionaires and you sit down with the upper class and the middle class and the lower class and the prison class, and you begin to play cards. Don't you think you should count the deck first? Like, it's not going to be a fair game to begin with because too many people were born with too much privilege. Like me, I was born with way too much privilege. I just don't lie about it. You lie about it. I don't lie about it. I was born with a whole lot of privilege. And I feel guilty about it every day. And every day I come on out here and just lay my guilt down. I'm born with all this privilege. We robbed the whole damn world. And we expect the world to play cards with us. And then we play cards with Democrats and Republicans. We play card with the oligarchy. It makes no sense to me. So anyway, I don't get it. So anyway, but on this discussion I have with this gentleman, like we were in IT, right? And if anybody's here in IT or corporate America, we had one problem that we agreed with, right? We had one problem that we agreed with. We like to go to lunch, okay? That was the problem. We like to go to lunch. Let me explain that to you, okay? Come 11, 12 o'clock, we're sick of slavery and we want to go eat. Whether you go to a mall, go get you some biscuits and food, go to the refrigerator, get your smoothie. We want to go to lunch, right? So if we want to sit down in a meeting, some sort of teleconference and everybody around the table, and we're going to solve a problem, damn it, we're going to solve the problem. We're not going to sit down at the table and say, oh, well, this department showed up and this department showed up and this department showed up, but they're only showing part of their information. They're only showing you a little bit of the TPS reports. Like, no. We got a problem. Purchasing is not working. Accounting is down. The software is not working. We need to solve this problem because we got to go to lunch. I'm not working through my lunch. Not for you, not for anybody. Not because you lying. Not for no damn Democrats and Republicans. You lying because you're an oligarch and you got all these other people fooled. I ain't fooled. I need to go to lunch. So in corporate America, that's how it got down. Like you had people sitting around to me, okay, we need to figure out what happened, who did what, when, how, what's all the data, put it together, spreadsheets and TPS reports and everything. And we hashed through it. And I'm just thinking to me, in the back of my mind, I'm just like, this is not my company. I'm not making billions here. I'm not making millions. Good mug. I'm making hundreds and thousands. I want to go to lunch. So we're going to have all the information on the table, decide what actually was the root cause of the problem, not the emotions, not because accounting doesn't want to blame John who had C's and maybe he lied about graduating. They don't want to be the blame for the problem. So that was our problem. We kind of agreed, like, yeah, and he got it. And I was like, dude, JFK warned us about climate change. LBJ told us we had the technology, and that was 60 years ago. That's why I don't want to talk about it. I don't want to talk about anything, for the most part, with people who watch the news. Because it's always part information. Like they tell me everybody's excited about Bolivia, that we're going to free them or something like that. Well, that's not what people say. Like I look at your posts and I'm just like, okay. And it seems like Bolivia's a good idea. It's like, no, this was a guy who said that you got a lying government and they overthrew him. But I don't watch it. I don't believe playing cards with a stacked deck. I think that's stupid. I don't want to waste my time in a discussion that, you're talking with people who only have part of the information, and the solution has to be something that fits in line with what they want, right? And so, you see what I'm saying? So anyway, I'm not interested in playing stacked deck of cards. What's that? There are 2 jokers in each deck. Then it should be called 54 pickup. Or do people throw out the jokers? Megan, I have no idea. Y'all play cards? I don't play cards. I don't play cards anymore. All right, let me jump and let's take a look and see what's happening in the billionaires world. Because I am completely out of the loop. I have no idea I didn't watch any of the news this weekend. I have no idea what everybody's excited about, what they're crying about, what they're worried about. And it's important to know what they're worried about. Well, we don't believe the news and we don't want them to drive our day. There's a difference between looking to see if the grizzly bear, no, bad analogy, it's not the one. What did I post this weekend? I posted something. I was trying to get under somebody's skin. I don't know if it worked out or not. Something to the effect of you expect the blue oligarchs to save you from the red oligarchs. Like, why would you expect the red oligarchs to save you from the blue oligarchs, right? One is a tiger and the other is a lion. You're a sheep. You're food, you're prey. Why would you expect either side to save you? And that led off in some really interesting places. But you need to know that you're prey. And I think that's what the news is probably good for. The billionaires news is probably good for, is you can see where other people are being herded. And if you see where the herd is going, you know what? Yeah, if the herd is going that direction, I think I'm gonna find me a bush. So I'll go on over here to RT News and see what happens. Do I believe this is true? Once again, I do not believe it's true. It's the billionaires news, what they allow on those major networks. However, American news is designed to lie to Americans. Russian news is designed to lie to Russians. But Russian news to America will have some truth in it, and America's news to Russia might have some truth in it. That's why I look at it. Anyway, I don't know anything about cards. I just don't believe in playing with cheaters. That's all. And if your government has classified secrets, classified projects, technologies that they don't release, I ain't playing with them. I ain't playing. I'm not gonna play. I don't care. I don't care what you can go vote all you want. I ain't playing. It's your turn to vote, Gerard. Nope, it ain't my turn. I told you I wasn't playing. You can have the cards right in front of me all you want. I'ma sit out. I'ma sit out. It's the dumbest thing I ever heard. Playing with a stacked deck of cards. All right, let me see. Exactly, go the opposite direction. And that's my point, Max. Opposite direction, right? If you know that the lions are herding the herd this way, like, hey, you know what, y'all gonna run that way? Okay. Y'all go ahead, because the lions are herding this way, and then the tigers on the other side. Are you getting that red-blue analogy? That you are prey and they are the predators, and they're like playing both sides, and like, nah, I think I'm gonna go hide in the bush. I might climb a tree or something like that. So that's my point. Like, I don't believe in picking and choosing which slave master is gonna make my day better. That's stupid, ridiculous. Oh, we almost got in trouble this weekend too. I don't know why I get tagged in this stuff. I got tagged in somebody famous thing again. Some bishop Super Shaba something. Cameron or somebody tagged me. What were they talking about? I don't know why Cameron tagged the picture. He did a meme. I love these memes. I love the memes. I think they were talking about impeachment, and it was a black group for people who still believe they're black. The slave masters, colors. And they were talking about impeachment and how Trump is racist and all this stuff. And anytime I hear Trump is racist, my mind, I'm gonna tell you where it goes. It goes to Khalid Browder. Every time, every single time. I don't know why that is, just how my mind works. Anytime I hear that the Republicans are racist, my mind goes to Khalid Browder. Right? Why? Because you got two political parties that wrote a crime bill that created a police state that now puts the poorest people in every community under the prison, right? And the police, they need to eat lunch, and so they go after the poorest people to make their quotas. They created this problem. So I don't give two damns what you think about Trump. I don't give two damns what you think about the Republicans. You with them, period. And I ain't with you. That's how I get down. So anyway, they were talking about the impeachment, and I think Cameron was getting overwhelmed, because that's how that goes. He, Bishop, I don't know, somebody, Tutu, something. He was high up on he's high in the blacks. He's high in the blacks. And I don't know if he's high at the heights of the people who turned on Martin Luther King that murdered him, but that's what it was about. It's Martin Luther King. He made a meme, and then I don't know why y'all do that. Well, it's good though. You stirred the Kool-Aid. That's a good thing. They had Martin Luther King. Let me see if I can find it. He had Martin Luther King, and he put a MAGA hat on Martin Luther King. I don't even know what color Cameron is. I don't know what his skin color is. All I know is they came for him. Boy, the comments started flying. He was like fighting with him and stuff, trying to explain some truthful things. And but everybody's right though. I mean, this is what I remember. Everybody's right. And of course, there were too many of them because he was a bishop. Somebody was real famous. And then Cameron tagged Ty and myself, and it's like, sorry, that shit escape. That shit escape. Anytime the blacks are coming for you, they didn't do their research. Tag me a Ty, and we usually try to get in and take care of it. And I kind of read through some of the comments. I couldn't read it because most of these people watch the news. I love y'all to death, but you watch the news, you're gonna be talking from the upside down, and I don't want to talk from the upside down. I don't play stack a deck of cards. I want to look at all the data and go to it. So I thought about it, and they said, well, why would you put that racist hat on Martin Luther King? You know, they've gone attacking him and everything, called him everything, every name in the book, all the prejudice names, all the racist names. And I just stopped and I thought about it. I said, well, did Martin Luther King try to make America great? He sure did. Did he try to make it great again? Well, no, I don't think he thought it was ever great. But he tried to make it great. He did. But nobody listened to him. And then most of the people on that thread did not listen to, like, people, they like to post Martin Luther King. They like to quote from Martin Luther King. But very few people ever even heard two or half of one of his speeches. And the people who did, they don't actually listen to what he said, right? So I went off and I just kind of just made some point because I could get in there and be aggressive. I used to like to argue. I don't now. I don't have that much time. So I just tried to be succinct with my points. I said, yes, Martin Luther King tried to make America great again. No, Donald Trump is not president. You know, he's no more racist than the Democrats. He's no more racist than the Republicans. He's no more racist than everybody in America. We're all a part of America. We're all indoctrinated to be stupid. We either trying to be better and make this country great, make the earth great, make the human race great, or we're not. And I said, damn, Martin Luther King, if he was alive today, he would damn sure not be a Democrat nor a Republican. So you can stop praising him. You can stop praising. I kind of kept it short. You know, Martin Luther King, that was the other thing I had to correct. Said, Martin Luther King was killed by racist people, white supremacy. And I was like, no, that's not what happened. You need to read. You didn't follow the case. Martin Luther King died. You didn't care enough to follow what happened afterwards, right? Martin Luther King was killed by a pillow. It wasn't by a racist person. It was, well, no, actually, no, take that back. It was a racist person, but that person was paid for by your government. It was an operation that killed Martin Luther King. So anyway, let me get on with that. That was the week. But that's what kind of happens. We get pulled into that stuff. What's happening in the news? Well, hang on. Let's look at some comments. November 2nd, 2020, we exercised the Second Amendment. Uh-oh. But it was intended. Pass the word. I know who Max Joy is now. I already know. You know, because I know who says that all the time. I know. Welcome to YouTube, Brother John. Welcome. All right. Yeah, listen, I have no issue with that. I have no issue with people with guns. I think guns are good. Guns are just tools. That's all they are. You can save a lot of people. You can hurt a lot of people. So I have no problem with guns. Now, taking guns into, I don't want to get into it, John. I'm just simply saying, you can get all your guns together. You can go to Washington. You need to understand who these people are. These people they like violence. They love violence. They get down on violence. These are psychopaths, okay? But you need to know who you're going up against. These are the tops of the Democrat and Republican Party, okay? They don't give two damns about your life or 16-year-old little boys on the streets of New York or anywhere. They don't give two damns about white lives, black lives, blue lives, or John's life. So just all I'm saying, if you want to do that, because who was the last group that did? It was Adam somebody. And they had this thing in Washington where they all brought their guns or something, walking over the bridge. What was that, Woodrow Wilson or something like that? Just make sure that you really want to take on what that's going to bring. Because that brother Adam, I forgot his name. He done had a whole life of pain. So I'm okay with anybody exercising their rights. I am. Just make sure you are willing to pay the price. Because, I think they took his house and they arrested him and all kind of crazy stuff. And I haven't heard anything from this guy, Adam, anymore. So anyway, what we got here? That's why we love you, Gerard. Why y'all love me? Y'all love me, Ivan. I love y'all too. I love y'all today. I love y'all because y'all are intelligent and you don't agree. That's what I love y'all because y'all intelligent and you don't agree. That's the only way we learn. You got to talk to adults. You have to talk to mature people. You got to learn to disagree with people and have the respect to let them make up their own mind. A lot of people hate me. Boy, they hate me. A lot of people. I like to read. I want to play with the full deck. People don't like that. They show up and it's like, yeah, all the problems. They sit there. I don't know. We'll put it in terms of race. Like we'll sit down at the table and we'll all play cards. And so you got the whites over there and you got the blacks and the yellows and the purples and all the silly colors that everybody wants to be. And I don't know. The yellows show up and they only bring half the data. They only bring half the information. You know, they want to solve a problem, but they are not going to let themselves be the problem. So the blacks like to do it too. The blacks only show up with 82% of their information. The whites like to only show 72% of their information. And then how are we going to solve a problem if everybody's lying? How are we going to, you know what? One last thing I'm going to say on that. Because it was deep. I was listening to my teacher this morning, Sadhguru, one of my teachers. He explained that And like, who's talking about enlightenment? What is enlightenment? I'm gonna play it for you. Actually, that's what I'm gonna do. I'm gonna play it for you. Who's talking about enlightenment? Because people are still posting this woke AF. You know, it took me about a month to know what the AF part was. Now I understand what the woke AF means. But I don't think most people understand what being woke is. What is woke to you? What does that mean to you? Being woke. Does that mean that you're playing with people with a full deck of cards? I'm gonna post this because I think that this was a good explanation as to what woke is. But I'm gonna give you the first few minutes of it. I think woke, there's another word for woke. I think it's called enlightenment. So how do you know, the name of this video is, how do you know if somebody is enlightened? How do you know if somebody is woke AF? And I think he gives a good perspective, a good enlightenment explanation.
In a way, enlightenment means you are an unblemished life, no branding. Once you mistake memory for intelligence, then you're messed up. There are only two kinds of people, mystics and mistakes. If you see things just the way they are, people will label you as a mystic.
Did you hear that?
You are an unblemished life.
He said, being woke.
Enlightenment means you are an unblemished life.
Means you are an unblemished life. Being enlightened.
No branding.
No branding. You're not branded. You don't have a billionaire's branding on your forehead. You're Hispanic. That you're a Christian. Because they modified all them books. They done changed everything. They lied to everybody. They destroyed your culture, threw it all away, burned it, pissed on it, threw it in the ground hole, burned it up, and made you what you are, and then branded you one of theirs. And they gave you a name. You came from one of 100,000 tribes from all over this planet. They gave you a name. I think what he's saying is deep. To actually be woke, to be enlightened, means that you don't have any billionaires' brandings on you. You don't have a label. You're not prejudiced. Prejudice. Because if you have a label, you are prejudiced. You're already prejudiced. That's just how your mind works. And I think this was deep because I watched the woke people fight all day long. They're out there fighting. Oh, the woke AF. They're like, oh, you woke AF. Yeah, I'm woke. You woke. We woke. Ah, and I'm like, we. If you woke is not a we. You know, you got to take that. If you're actually enlightened, if you're sentient, you're not playing cards with a label. You're playing cards to solve a problem. Do you get my card analogy in trying to solve problems in corporate America because you want to go to lunch, right? If we're sitting at the table and we're trying to solve a problem, if you show up and you're partial to the accountant department, you're partial to the IT department, you're partial to the legal department, and you're only giving part of the information, then it means the problem has to be anybody but you. That means you're not woke AF. Damn sure ain't woke. I don't even woke AF. It means you're asleep. You're still branded by billionaires. You're still branded by your leaders. You know, we need to move forward and evolve. And this is why I think this step is conscience. But I love what he said. And I just want to replay what he said in the first piece of it, because there's mystics and there's mistakes. Did you get that? There are mystics and mistakes. And I think that was important too, because you're a mistake. I've been a mistake my whole life. Been a mystic or a mistake. A mystic is someone who doesn't see, they're not a gender, right? They're not a race, they're not a religion, they're not a nation. They're a person who actually wants to solve a problem. They're not there for the accounting department. They're not there for the legal department. They're not there for IT. They're not representing anything, but we need to fix. We're on this planet, we're sentient, we need to move in the right direction. And the direction has to be the right direction, not the direction that's righter for my subhuman group from the label I have. You see what I'm saying?
Once you mistake memory for intelligence, then you're messed up.
Mistaking memory for intelligence. What do you get from that? What I get from that is the whole talking point nonsense, right? Because just because you have data doesn't mean you're intelligent. It means you can listen and recite. Trust me, I went to school with a whole bunch of them. they got straight A's. They were fantastic. They couldn't figure out how to unscrew a screw, nail a nail, but damn it, they can repeat data. Then you get these talking points and they just parrot the data and they sound really intelligent. And this is why, my critique of the, I hate to do it. I'm always on it because this is how I was raised as a black. I was raised as a black. And the leaders are all corrupt and dirty because they're great parrots. They got great memory. They can repeat things, but they're not intelligent. Unfortunately, the majority aren't. And this is why I keep getting pulled into stuff, because they can recite things, but they can't think. They have no critical thought. They're not a mystic, they're a mistake. They still believe in the billionaires party in this colonized world, and they're trying to fight. All right, here's an. They're trying to chant down Babylon with a Babylonian chant. they were literally given a Babylonian chant. And they're trying to chant down Babylon with and I'm just like, no, that's not how this works. All right. So mystics and mistakes, and all of us were mistakes because they broke who we are at birth.
There are only two kinds of people, mystics and mistakes. If you see things just the way they are, people will label you as a mystic.
Seeing things just the way they are, right? So I'm not gonna play any more of that. I just wanted to show you that I found that to be interesting. Seeing things just the way they are. Sitting at the card table saying, we're not gonna play cards because the government has top secret classified projects. They're hiding free energy devices. They're lying about ancient Egypt, right? They're lying about these anti-gravitic devices flying in the air. They still got Tesla documents that they have banned from the human eye, from the public eye. And the way my mind works, when I look at Earth, we're slaves, and we are mostly slaves of gravity. And if we are slaves of gravity, the only way to free the human race is to be free from gravity. And if you've got electromagnetic gravitic devices, the UFOs flying around with US Space Force on it, British Space Force, Russia Space Force, we got a problem. We got a problem. You know why we got a problem? Because I want to go to lunch. I should have named this because I want to go to lunch. Because I want to go to lunch. I don't want to sit in the slave plantation. I've been working my whole damn life. Y'all have been working your whole damn life. Why are you still working? Because we're slaves to gravity. Once you're free of gravity, it means that you can have robots and automation make everything. The scary thing is you can actually have robots and automation make everything now on fossil fuels. And it costs almost nothing. But we can do it in a free energy way, in a highly productive energy way, but they're hiding those cards. They got the card up their sleeve and they're playing, they want us to play. That's why I'm not playing, right? Because every argument's over resources, right? It's like I posted again this weekend. I didn't post much this weekend, I had a lot to do. But I have to think about it. And I do want to look at the news. Sometimes we have these great discussions. That's why I love the friends I have around here. Which is why Facebook banned that. That's why I can't go live on Facebook still. Hold on. Gosh, it was right on point. Let me put down my thread. It's like my notes. That's why I post on Facebook. It's like a discussion area for me. I have a random thought and I'll post it. Most of them I delete. I don't let them out. No, that's not it. That's not it. Here we go. This is it right here. This is it. This is what I was thinking. Strategic targeting. Now, you want to be strategic in your targeting. Let me see about that timeline thing. You're right there. I'm getting better at this. I am getting better at this. Let me see. If your root struggle is resource-based, because all struggles are resource-based. All of them are resource-based, whether you're in the black struggle, the white struggle, the Irish struggle, the Bolivian struggle, the Venezuelan struggle, all the struggles are about gravity. They're all about resources, right? They're all about energy. The author of your oppression is the owner of those resources. Right? So focus on those who have the resources. Don't focus on the people that's struggling and fuggling for some resources their damn self, right? If all your struggles are all resource-based, in which they all are, cut it out with the white supremacy. Cut it out with the white privilege. Cut it out with going after people who also don't have resources. Go after the strategic people who have them, right? These psychopathic billionaires that own the resources from entire nations hide within entire groups of people because you're emotionally stupid, you're intellectually lazy. You don't actually want to target those who actually own the resources. You only got about 13 families or so, okay? Only about 13 families or so. All right, that's that. I'm just saying be strategic targeting. Stop targeting entire groups of people and target the ones that actually have the resources. Otherwise, you're gonna be in that fuggle for a long long time. All right, so let's do this. Let's look at the news. All right. 30-day ban. Lord, I have no idea. I didn't ask. I didn't ask. Facebook doesn't want the videos. They don't need to have the videos. I'm doing this no matter what. I'm gonna do this with 2 people on MySpace if need be. I'm all about, we need to move forward with the human race. We need to become sentient, act like we're sentient. We need to get a clue. So I didn't ask Facebook, and I really don't care. Every morning, in fact, let me unpublish. Hang on one second. Unpublish, because it's gonna just keep coming back with an error. And I don't want Facebook to think that I want to post to their page. I don't really care. I don't want AI learning software, Tom, Mike, John, whoever is running the things for the Global Alliance, to think that I'm trying to be on their platform. I'm not trying to be on any platform. I don't give 2 damns. That's the problem with, like, I think doing the right thing because it's the right thing. I like to know the truth, which is, if you don't want the truth on your platform, then you're not an equal player in this. You are someone who is nefarious. And that's all I want to know. I want to know the nefarious platform. So I might have to ban Facebook for a little while. Let me see. Disney Plus is the beginning of a crowd streaming. I don't know what that is. I'm not interested in Disney Plus. Disney is a freaky-deek organization. Not really interested. Y'all going too far with stuff. Like, ooh, let me tell you something. You know what I was watching a piece of is, what is the name of that movie? Boss Baby. Anybody notice there's a lot of butts in Boss Baby? Anybody noticing that? Because I seen it the first time, and now they got a TV show, and I think they had a part 2. Because of my friends that say, like, watch and pay attention to Disney movies. There's subliminal messages all in them. And I'm like, yeah, okay. And I was watching Boss Baby. I'm like, how many times are they gonna show somebody's anus? Like, crazy, weird things that didn't make any sense. Like, they were in there running and fighting or something, and then the kids were jumping and playing in the jump thing. And then to get out the jumping, because the kids get in the jumping room. To get out the jumping room, you had to climb up through the dog's anus and pop out the back. And I'm like, what the hell is that? And then they had the baby, the beginning of it. You see the baby's butt on the fur. And then there was another butt, and it was just, I'm like, every 5 or 10 minutes, it focused on somebody's butt and an anus. I'm like, what the hell is this? Disney and Hollywood got some problems, y'all. That's all I'm saying. I think you need to sit Disney and Hollywood down on the table and let them talk to somebody. They got some issues, And I won't go into the rest of the stuff I saw, but it was weird. So I'm not interested in Disney. Disney is a part of the war industrial complex as far as I'm concerned, and they need some psychological help. Capitalism on trial in Chile, will it survive? Capitalism should not survive anywhere. Capitalism is a mistake. It's a mistake. Capitalism, like socialism and communism, they are defaults. They are mistakes of our social evolution, fighting over resources. And they're just different ways of fighting over resources. And there's no reason to fight over resources anymore. There's no reason to give all the resources to a central government to redisperse to the people. There's no reason for any of that anymore. So hopefully it doesn't survive. Hopefully capitalism, communism, socialism all die. We need something new in the world. We need a new form of government, and it's nothing we've seen thus far. I like the resource-based economy. Oh Lord, here comes the CIA again. What the hell y'all do now? Are y'all blowing up something, destroying something, or making Americans stupid? Which is it? CIA search for mind control with Stephen Kinzer. I don't think the CIA is searching for mind control. We can look at that if y'all want. They found it. It was in MK Ultra. That was the one they released to us, and it was not the drug side. It was the other side that they have kept redacted. This is what I'm saying. I'm not going to play cards because your CIA has mind control. Whether that's with 5G, 6G, or something else that we're not being told. I think the successful projects you never get to know about, and the ones they tell you about, they're only going to tell you what they want to know. You're playing with people with a stacked deck of cards. I have no interest voting for a government that has a CIA, right? They could be controlling me right now. They could be mind controlling me right now through this laptop and camera and whatever else. I'm not interested in playing with people in a stacked deck of cards. I don't know why people vote. It drives me crazy. Man, y'all got some big comments. What y'all talking about? Oh, I want to talk about the rest of the news and the stacked deck of cards, but I do want it to be interactive. So, what are y'all fighting about? Y'all fighting over here? The single most precious resource on this planet is human life. Absolutely, Max Joy. Absolutely, 100%. And I think your name is John, if not mistaken. That's why I like the resource-based economy. I like the idea of making human beings and life the staple, the requirement, the basis of any form of governing. If we are human beings and we have a thing called a government, it has to be based in sentient things or things of what we are. It has to value what we are. It can't value money. It can't value resources that it has and we don't have. If we're going to have a government thing over top of people things, then the basis has to be the people thing, right? We live and die and survive by each other. It has to be sentient or it's not getting my vote. It can't have my support. I'm not interested in it. Very sad. I had no idea how many homeless people there are in Hawaii. Who said that? Megan? Yeah, there are. 10 cities in Hawaii, 10 cities in California, 10 cities all over because the American government doesn't give two damns. They couldn't give two shakes of a damn. Right? They're an oligarchy. People don't seem to understand that. They're out there voting for people starving your neighbors. It's insanity to me. But yeah, don't be surprised by it. That's what an oligarchy literally is supposed to do. It's supposed to starve people into conflict. It literally wants to do that. It has to do that. It has to do what makes it profitable. But I do want to see something over here because there's a Hindus bar, unclean women from temple. Well, no, I don't think I want to touch that. The world doesn't appreciate women. It doesn't respect women. It doesn't like women. It doesn't look out for women. It has no interest in women's rights at all, which is why I don't really want to click on that. I don't need to see it. At least I don't want to. Jetpack will be cars of the future. I do want to see that. Ooh, let's look at that.
There were secret societies that were involved in founding this country. Who were they? And what were they trying to do? It's on the American dollar bill, New World Order. It's based on the ancient Egyptian concepts of government, finance, law, and the way the ancient Egyptians understood the world at large. That's why you have a pyramid. The truth will actually blow you away.
That used to freak me out. I think that stuff is true now. I think it's true. I think that there are energies, nuances, manipulations that happen all the time. So I actually believe that. I don't know how they let Gaia stay there. I think maybe Gaia is a way of waking people up and bringing them forward to where the CIA and these 100 families were maybe 50 years ago. But that is, I believe all of it. Like there's something there. I don't know exactly what it is, but there's something there to that symbology. All right, let's get on with it. Cars of the future.
You gotta love a conversation with somebody like Larry King who knows so much, and we're about to have a conversation with somebody who knows a lot as well, somebody who knows a lot about the world of sports, and this is what we call Jock Talk with Steve Christakos. I know the big story in the country today. Everybody's talking about that fight last night after that football game, and we're going to get to that. We're going to get to that. But
who's everybody? What football game? Somebody play football last night? I wasn't talking about. I don't watch the Billionaires News, and I really don't care who's playing soccer, football, or volleyball match 8 states over. Now I'm not interested. I'm not talking about it. I don't know nothing about it.
I think we should get started with somebody who has possibly negative body fat.
Yes. She actually, you remember Street Fighter, the video game? You used to play that maybe? Chun-Li, well, the video game character.
I don't know anything about video games, but I'll take your word for it.
Very popular game. Our viewers probably have played it, but people are calling her the real-life Chun-Li now. Now, she's a Chinese bodybuilder. She's 30 years old. I mean, check this out. Yes, this is her. I mean, you like to hit the gym, but I don't know if we could compete with her here. Her name's Yuan Hirong, and she's a doctor, actually. So she waited until, now she's only been doing this for 2 years, bodybuilding. She actually was in medical school until she was 28, because, traditionally over in China, her parents wanted to keep the tradition going and wanted her to be a doctor or something. Right. They said no to this bodybuilding experiment until after she got her degree, and then she became this doctor bodybuilder, and real life Chun-Li. So
she looks like impressive. She literally has no body fat.
Right.
And I don't mean skinny. I mean just nothing but muscle there.
Right. The legs are just unbelievable. I need to hit leg day because, Yeah, zero body fat. But let's move on.
Next video. I want you to know that this is the way I plan within my lifetime to get to work.
Okay, yes, because with this DC gridlock and traffic, this would be great. And this could potentially be a sport, jet suit racing. Now, this guy, a British inventor, his name's Richard Browning. He invented this jet suit. And, some call, we talked about Chun-Li. Now, he's the real-life Iron Man. He took off and set a new world speed record of 85 miles per hour in that thing. So it could become a race one day, or maybe a transportation for us to get to work. But his old record in 2017 was only 32 miles per hour.
Look at this!
He crushed it.
Is this cool or what?
No, this is awesome, yeah. So he's a British inventor. The Guinness Book of World Records reps were there on hand, so it's official now, just over 85 miles per hour. So it was pretty unbelievable. Now,
I want to see him land. Hold on. Can we see him land?
Can we see him
land? We're going to run out of time. I know he's going to do it. Everybody hang tight. No. Yes. He's landing. Boom. Down goes the... All right.
You know what? I'm disturbed by this. You know why I'm disturbed? I'm going to tell you why I'm disturbed. I'm disturbed because I don't think this is new. That's why. I think we've seen this before. I think that this is a slow this is why I think that there are different realities. There's a reality that they force us to live. Well, I don't think that. I was told by a friend who worked in the Pentagon, that you got two realities. You got one that was real, and then you got the other one, the one that they show the public. I don't like this. Let me show you why. I think it was in Mexico. There was a YouTube video a long time ago about a flying man. Y'all remember that? They took pictures. Hang on, let me show you this. Right here. This is why I don't like and believe none of that. This was it right here. You see this picture right here? I think they slowly released this stuff. It was something that was in the shape of a human that was flying around Mexico. This was in Mexico. Phantoms and monsters. Like, oh, it's aliens and UFOs. And this is why half the reason I say that, you know what, most of the time it probably isn't aliens and UFOs, but it's our deep state, it's our oligarchy. They hide all this technology. Now I think that they're showing the gas version of it. Maybe they got something else. But people over in Mexico, they saw this flying thing with two legs and arms for the longest time. So yeah, and this was a long time ago. I want to say this was back in like the 80s or 90s or something. So I don't know, I kind of got an issue with this. This is, I think, is old technology being re-released. This is why I believe in conspiracy theories, because I don't think they're conspiracy theories. I think you've got kings and lords, they always conspire, they want the best for them first, and they'll release it to you later after they figure out how to master it and sell it to you on a black market or control you with it.
What do you got? What's number 3?
Now, number 3 was a nasty KHL goal, basically. Real quick, let's check it out. It was a game between, this is the fight from last.
Right, so that's it, Jock Talk. Okay, well, that was it. Yeah, okay, they were showing that, and then they're going to talk about sports. I really don't care about your Coliseums. I don't watch the sports. I can't get away from the Coliseum, right? I've got people choosing gladiators on my timeline all damn day, okay? Because voting is a gladiator sport. I don't believe in the Coliseum. It's like, oh, I'm gonna choose my champion to go fight in the ring. I'm like, the ring is fake. I'm not interested in what was happening in the gladiator ring. I don't have a hero, and I don't need a champion of me, let alone my kids. And damn sure not one that's only showing part of the cards because of Democrats and Republicans. And if I did that, it damn sure wouldn't be a group that believes in slavery and war. But yeah, I don't have a 2020. I'm not gonna have one. Oh, Prince Andrew speaks on the Epstein case. Let me guess. He didn't do nothing. He ain't do nothing. He went to the island. Did y'all see this? He went to the island. I didn't know they was doing freaky stuff. He told the prince or the queen. He said, maybe we should watch that. I think we're gonna watch that. We're gonna watch that. Why? Simply because people were really hurt on that island. Epstein did not kill himself, nor do I actually think that the man is gone. I think that the man is hiding out in Israel somewhere. He's got too much power.
Hello there, I'm Farron Franzek. You're watching In Question, broadcasting live from the national headquarters of RT America here in Washington, D.C. And here's the stories that we're working on for you.
All right, pause. Let me tell you why I'm going to tell you. Let me show you and say why. Because we need, functional things moving forward. Why do I believe that? One, because I was born in America, and that's not how rich people get down. Okay, they keep their friends safe. If their friends got dirt on them that can collapse their multi-billion-dollar shipping company or government, they keep that friend safe. Okay? They don't let that friend die in prison. The man made a lifestyle of blackmailing other people, so I don't believe. The only way I believe he's dead is we have to have confirmation. We need to have the body hanging in the public square. That's what I said this weekend. I said, we go back in medieval times, you hang them in the square. Hang them in the square. If you killed kids and you were raping little girls and you had parties killing kids and raping little girls and hunting people, whatever that stuff y'all was doing with Bill Clinton, all the rest of them, I think Trump was out there too. So y'all, I'll let y'all go back and forth on that. Although I will have to say, well, I don't know. Because I had that lady who said that she was 13 and Trump did this, that, whatever, and she disappeared and something. But he did, it's confirmed he went to some of the Epstein parties, and I'm just kind of like, yeah, okay. Let's stop pretending. We know what billionaires do. We know that they rule the world. We know what very wealthy people, we know that they got a different set of standards and a different set of laws. And it's not an anti-Trump thing, it's just a common sense thing. If you are raised in a billionaire's world and you are a billionaire, you have that type of control over people, you use the control. So let's not pretend. And it's not an anti-Trump, and it's definitely not a pro-Obama. It's just when you have power, you always use it. You always abuse people. That's why power can't exist. But anyway, so yeah, the only way I believe that Epstein is gone is if he was hanging in the town square. Not that that's a sick thing, it's just he did sick things, and we need to confirm, get some DNA tests, that that's what happened. I need to pick the poorest county in Texas, the poorest county in Alabama, the poorest county in Maryland, and the poorest county in Virginia. Get all those coroners together with the retired scientists that don't work for corporations, the geneticists, and test his DNA and know that his DNA. Go find Bill Clinton and get a swab from his mouth, because he's been at so many Epstein parties that he's probably exchanged DNA, coughing Epstein on him, whatever. Make sure to get some of that DNA out of his mouth. Oh, that could just get nasty. I don't even want to go there. And test it, make sure that's his DNA. That's the only way I believe the billionaire's news that he's actually gone. Then I have to go there and see it. That's the only way. Short of that, I ain't believing it. Too many people were hurt.
For you today, after mounting pressure, Prince Andrew, the Duke of York, is finally speaking out about his relationship with the Jeffrey Epstein. We're going to preview this bomb.
Question, all right, outside, I like common sense. If you had a friend that was doing this sort of stuff, hurting people, killing kids, eating them, I don't know what they were doing, would you, how long have we known about this? Is it a couple years now? A couple months? I don't know, somebody watches this stuff. Would you wait a couple years or a couple months to say, oh, hell no, would you wait? Or would you right away tell everybody, hell no, I didn't know they was doing that, I didn't went there, and maybe this is my fear as a minority growing up in this world, but I will say this, if I find out that I went to a party and people got hurt, you wouldn't have to wait a few weeks, a few months, a few hours. I'm calling the news in that minute. All right, I'm calling them to tell them everything I know. I'm right there. I call the police. I'm call the FBI. I'm gonna call everybody. Call my friends. Let them know everything. I'm gonna do an interview. Hey, listen, I went to the party. I had a couple of drinks. I saw some freaky stuff upstairs, and oh, you know what? I don't know parts of this, and I left. Would you sit there and wait a couple months, couple years? This is why I'm suspicious. I'm suspicious, because to me, that's not common sense. You don't wait, because it seems like you got your story together. You were trying to figure out whose name's on the list and who knows what, and who's going to release what, and if Epstein is going to die, or if he's going to get away. They're going to put him on a secret. You're figuring all this stuff out, and then you're coached what to say from the realms of legality. I'm not interested, because nobody trusts that. And they shouldn't trust that, because you waited. I wouldn't wait. I wouldn't wait. Hell no. The minute something happened, I'm telling everything I know. Because that's the only thing I would believe, right? Is if a bad thing happened, you come out in support of the people who were hurt, a group that you were affiliated with, and you tell everything you know. That's what I was. So I'm already not believing what he's about to say, but I want to hear what he's going to say.
Shall interview. Also, find out why one DC anti-war activist says that her freedom is in jeopardy and how her attempted arrest is related to U.S.-backed coups in Latin America. And finally, the U.S. warns Egypt of a possible sanction after its arms deal with Russia. We're going to have the details next in a full report. All right, sit tight. It's time to boost your news IQ.
Charlie Design Studio. That's what I want. I need to see the body.
And we begin this hour with the Duke of York speaking out for the first time about his controversial friendship with Jeffrey Epstein. After mounting pressure, the Prince Andrew sat down with the BBC to set the record straight. This as French police call on witnesses again to come forward and share their stories of abuse at the hands of Epstein and one of his closest associates. RT's Rachel Blevins joins us in the studio now with more on this story. Rachel.
One of Jeffrey Epstein's closest friends is stepping into the spotlight. Prince Andrew is speaking out for the first time about his relationship with Epstein, and BBC claims the live interview, which will be released on Saturday, was no holds barred, no questions vetted, and it took 6 months for palace officials to approve. Now, Prince Andrew stands accused.
6 months for palace to approve. Palace officials. First question, do you trust the palace? And is the palace official? Nope, it ain't official. Y'all done colonized the whole world. You done destroyed things. People die every day because of the palace. Kids are still being grabbed off the street. Didn't have that video, the kid jumping out the window of the palace. Do you trust it? I don't trust the palace. And they're not official. They done destroyed the whole damn planet, killed probably 1 million different tribes of people and funnel them into these little fake groups and conflict-based societies and hiding technology. I don't trust nothing they got to say.
Accused of abusing Epstein's underage sex slaves. He has been pictured with Epstein and his close associate, Ghislaine Maxwell, and he has denied all accusations against him, so it remains to be seen if he will give away any information in this new interview. Now, meanwhile, investigators in France are calling for witnesses to come forward amid accusations that another one of Epstein's close friends is guilty of sex trafficking minors. Famous model scout Jean-Luc Brunel stands accused of using his influence to drug and rape several aspiring models, obtaining modeling visas to bring teenage girls to the U.S., and then supplying those young girls to Epstein and others as part of a massive sex trafficking ring. Now, one of the women who says she was sexually abused by Epstein, Prince Andrew, and Brunel when she was a minor is Virginia Roberts Gouffre. She claims that, much like Epstein, Brunel preyed on poor girls from poor families and lured them in with the promise of becoming famous models. But despite the massive allegations against Jean-Luc Brunel that would warrant the arrest of an average citizen, he is still walking free today. And reports claim he fled to South America after the news of Epstein's death. Now, all of this comes as reports claim Epstein's lawyers may agree to a program in which his estate pays his victims. Now, as a reminder, Epstein's real estate includes one of the largest private homes in Manhattan, worth $55.9 million. His 7,500-acre ranch in New Mexico, which features a 33,000 square foot mansion worth around $17.2 million. His property in West Palm Beach, Florida, worth around $12.3 million, and the infamous islands he owns in the U.S. Virgin Islands, worth a total of more than $85 million. Now, Epstein's various properties are the scene of the crime for the dozens of women who were abused there as young girls, and many of them now say that it's about much more than the money. They say they would rather see Epstein's friends and associates actually face accountability for their crimes.
Done. Heard everything I need to hear. Now I'm gonna hear the rest of it. I do. But I'm saying from a sister perspective, I heard what they need. They said it's not about the money. Because I was counting the money up. I'll be honest with you. I was counting the money. I was like, okay, it's 85 million, 18 million, 70 million, okay, 81 million. Like, that should be a lot of millions to go around to all the people that they hurt. But if they're saying that they don't want the money, they want accountability, I got to agree with my sisters. I will always agree with the abused. They want them to come down. And I was already partial because I need the American government to fall. I need the federal, I need them down. I need them down. I need the British government, I need them all down. We need to build sentient government. So they need to come down anyway. All right, so, hey, listen. If people are dragged to an island at the ages of 10 to 13, 18, whatever, and they're raped by grown, filthy billionaires, and they're in bed with government, they probably flew there on tax dollars. If Clinton was there, I guarantee they probably had military hops. The whole thing has to come down. I agree with this. I agree with the Epstein enterprise has to fall. We gotta protect our government. No, we don't. If you are a psychopathic billionaire or a powerful person in government that had anything to do with Epstein, if you just shook the man's hand, you need to be out of power. I don't know anything about the prosecution side of it. I know that the NSA got everything. I know the FBI got everything. I know they got everything on you. I know that when Jamal Khashoggi died, how many tapes been they found? 3, 4, 5, I don't know how many videos and tapes and everything else they didn't found. Recordings. I know they know who been there, and I know they know what they've been up to. My perspective, because I don't think power should exist anyway, because anytime power exists, it always abuses. But if you had any relationship with this man, if you didn't send him a pen pal letter, he didn't send you one back. His phone is in your phone, and his phone, your phone is it. Done. That's how we need to get down. We need the NSA to come forward. We need y'all to be on our side for once. Be on the side of these little girls. We don't need some whistleblowers. John, get the tapes. We know you got the information, bring it. That's how you have a discussion on a card game over pedophiles and sex abusers and Epstein's friends. You bring all the cards and put them on the table. I do not want to play cards with you. If it's 27 cards in a deck and you're only going to put 20 on the table because we can't let the tops of the Democrat and Republican Party fall, let them mothers fall, let it all burn. That's what I believe. I believe with them. If such horrible things happen to them that they don't even want the money, it's not even about the money, then we need to burn something. We need to burn some things down.
In Washington, Rachel Blevins, RT.
Rachel, thank you. Now joining us to discuss the latest out of the Jeffrey Epstein saga, we are joined by legal and media analyst Lionel of Lionel Media.
Get him, Lionel.
We talked about this on Wednesday, and a lot of people had said, eventually Prince Andrew was going to have to come out and discuss this. I'm shocked that he has, one, but when it comes to, he's a prince. What are the legal considerations, and how are people at his level of prominence, and he's a prince. How is he going to be prosecuted?
He ain't my prince. He ain't my prince. I ain't got a prince. I ain't got no princess. I ain't got no prince. I ain't got no princess. I ain't got none of that. I got no kings and queens. I don't belong to nobody. This is the crazy, insane thing about today. You don't own me. Say, well, the leaders of your country, I ain't got no leaders, man. You got leaders. You see, I don't see no leaders when they've been to my house. They call me. We working together or something? I don't have no, what a president. I don't have a president. That's the billionaire's president. I don't have a Congress, a Senate, Supreme Court. I read books. I understand what happened in 1933. They didn't shut down the Constitution. They suspended it. Guess what happened when they suspended the Constitution? They suspended my membership, okay? They didn't cancel me. That's not how this works. It's a contract, right? You protect my Bill of Rights and my Constitution, then maybe I think about being a citizen. But if you don't respect it and you're bought by billionaires in 1933, then we don't have a contract no more. We ain't got nothing. There's nothing. I don't have a prince, princess, kings, nothing that. Now I got a state government, I guess they kind of do look out for me, but I ain't got no federal government. That's why I'm okay with the whole thing following. Let the whole thing
if he even will be.
There are so many layers of insulation. There's sovereign immunity. There were actually statutes and treaties and rules that prohibit that. But what I would love for somebody to do, irrespective of this, is to say, slide across, this isn't going to happen, but here's a Bible or whatever it is. Swear to this. Here's a picture. Did you ever touch her when she was a girl? She said you did. What do you have to say about that?
I want to line out. Hang on. First of all, number one, I don't think they don't care about the Bible thing. They don't care about it. And number two, it's not gonna catch on fire because they didn't alter all the scriptures and changed everything. I was listening to that in a lecture this weekend from the Romans and what is his name? I forgot the Roman's name. He changed the Bible before that scripture. They say, I don't think it's not the word of God. It's not gonna catch on fire. And besides, they're not gonna tell the truth anyway. These are psychopathic people that hold little girls down and rape them. They don't give two damns about what you give a damn about. So I lie now. Hang on. Let them finish.
I want to hear this. I've got to say that we have known, the world has known about Jeffrey Epstein for decades. Everybody's talking about this except our FBI, Interpol, Department of Justice. Today, and I know this is apples and oranges, but today, when we actually found Roger Stone guilty of something, which is, okay, he lied to Congress, probably the only person ever to be charged for that. if you think about it. And yet there are these other individuals who for the longest times have been victimizing young girls underage for decades. And we've got to go to ABC's talking about it, NBC, Daily Mail, BBC. Where is the Department of Justice? Where are sworn FBI agents who know what they're doing, going after him when he was alive? And the number of lawsuits that you're seeing percolating up will be beneficial to those in terms of sums of money, but it's too little too late. We always talk about sometimes justice that's too accelerated, that's too fast, where people aren't given a break. This man, if you talk to anybody from another planet, they say he has had a hands-off label on him for decades. Why? There are pictures of him.
Oh, we gotta stop there and make the hint. We gotta stop there. Stop for a minute, Paul. Oh, goodness gracious. Good question. Good question. Where is the FBI? Where y'all lose them? They fall in a crack somewhere. Where's the FBI? Y'all there for us. Federal Bureau of Investigations. Y'all, they're supposed to be investigating something, right? All these women coming forward, all these kids. Where y'all at? Homeland Security? They grabbing girls off the street? Is the Homeland secure? This is why I'm saying that this federal government is not for you. Great people in the FBI, don't get me wrong. Great people in the DHS, don't get me wrong. Some of them I know, some of them in my family, but the reality is they're not there for you. They're not there for you. Well, how come they won't whistleblow and get out there and help them girls? Because you just came through a president who was the most aggressive against whistleblowers ever. Ever. Right? He prosecuted more whistleblowers than anybody. Why? To keep everybody in line. This is a slave plantation. You will not be talking about running off of it or stopping it. That's how this works. These groups are not for you. That's why when Ron Paul said it, he was right. Y'all said he was crazy. You said he was racist because you still believe the lying people at the top. All right? He told you get rid of the FBI, get rid of the CIA, and replace it with nothing. These organizations are not even constitutional. You can't have a private army. There is no posse comitatus. They're not there for you. That's why in ABC, was she ABC or CBS, the one who said it? She did more for you than all your organizations. All the acronym agency, they scared to death. I get it. They're scared to death because these are very powerful people and they like to murder people. Then chased Snowden out the country. Y'all say he's CIA. I really don't care about that. I just know this. The man said something true and he ran the hell out of the country. And he got people in the country still cheering. Oh, he's a traitor. Chelsea Manning, she done told you what was going on. Y'all traitor. So if I was, you know what, and I'm standing in defense of the FBI and the CIA and the Homeland Security right now. If I was in that group, hell no, I ain't coming forward. I ain't coming forward with nothing. No, I ain't helping nothing. Why? Because the people don't want my help. Okay? I'm here to do a job. I got a mortgage and I'm gonna do my job. Now, if people ever become outraged about something significant, if they ever become outraged and they want us to start to investigate and help these people out, all right, maybe I'll do something. But if you got the majority of people who manufacture consent, they agree to this nonsense, you're going to be an Edward Snowden. You're going to release it and run because you're going after the world's most powerful people who purchased America, purchased Britain, purchased Canada. They're in line, in league with Central. If you have the ability to quiet the FBI, the CIA, the MI6, all those acronym agencies into doing any sort of investigation at all into all of these women who have said they've been abused, do you know what kind of power you have? That's why I ain't voting for it. This is insane to me. This is interesting.
Walking in Central Park for years. Andrew, with Jeffrey Epstein.
There's even video of him from the Daily Mail where they have him in Epstein's home.
Yes.
Opening and closing the door. I mean,
but let's go back to the royal family. Jimmy Savile, who died in 2011, I believe. I can't even say what he did. He was knighted. Now I don't understand. Again, we can talk about this, the implications of this. But right now, you have lawsuits going back and forth in the Southern District of New York. You also have Alan Dershowitz against David Boies. You've got slander and defamation. You've got all of these victims. My question also is, where is the disposition of his estate? Who owns it? Who lives there now? I want to see a full itemization of everything he's ever owned. Who owns it? Has this been disposed of? Have they frozen assets? What's being done with this? This is a
Good question, Lionel. What's being done with it? The same thing when y'all came for the Clintons. They deleting stuff, they're burning it up, throwing file cabinets and drawers out the window, just dropping stuff off of boats in the depth of the ocean. They're deleting databases and records from the NSA because these people have that type of control. They're cleaning everything up so they can present a clean copy for the gullible sheep that still believe in this world. That's what they're doing. That's where it is, lined up. They're getting rid of everything. That's exactly what they're doing. Just, it's like the Pope. It's like, you know how they pick the new Pope? You see the fire, the smoke coming out the tower? They're just burning everything. They're just burning hard drives, computers, database, just getting rid of everything. I can't have any records. This is why that prince waited this amount of time to come out and say anything, because they're getting rid of everything. They're going to give a clean version to make sure that the world stays in the model that it does. They need the police state, they need colonization, they need globalization. They're not going to let the world's most powerful people fall. They need people to believe in them. Those are Max and Susan and Deborah and Patricia and Megan and Miss Tree. They need y'all to believe. They need you to believe. So they're going to clean up the version and give you a version that makes sense to you. And so the psychopaths at the top who are in bed with it, we could actually change this world with this. If we're smart, we might be able to just change the whole power structure of the world. If we give a damn enough, but you know, y'all gotta go fight for impeachment or something. That's what I'm saying. Y'all on this impeachment thing, you ought to be a damn shame to yourself. You should. You really should be a damn shame to yourself. We got real problems. Real problems, not the fake problems, not the stuff that they get you upset about, the same people in bed with Epstein. We got real problems that we need to deal with, and this is one of them.
Monster. And also, his planes, his homes, these were recording studios. And I would venture to guess, if I was just a regular FBI agent, that he's probably got pictures and tapes of very important people. Have the victims ever gone through the mountain of evidence and said, can you identify somebody that had sex with you when you were a minor?
Well, you have a lot of these victims that are saying, you know, we have all this evidence, but, you know, they have all of this, but it's just that no one's ever really stopped and looked at it. And when we're talking about Jeffrey Epstein, and then also in the case of Prince Andrew, you know, like you were saying, these are recording studios. They have a lot of evidence. Has that evidence been shoved under the rug? Has it been collected? Do we know anything about that?
Where is Ghislaine Maxwell?
That's a good question.
Where is she now? Now she settled a lawsuit with Giuffre for this is civil. Where is she? We have in our laws, if you aid, abet, counsel, procure, hire, you are an accessory. She facilitated this. She is as putatively, allegedly, theoretically, as guilty as anyone else. Yet we see her at the In-N-Out Burger here. How has she slithered through the manacles of justice, to mix metaphors? How is this happening? Why is it that we're talking about this? Everybody's talking about this, the BBC, but where's the Department of Justice? And again, I'm not trying to compare. Roger Stone, let's get him. Let's go after these frankly unimportant people compared to this monster. This is Hannibal Lecter that has been the favorite of the New York social scene and the international scene forever. We've got presidents, we've got captains of industry, we've got people who have been there and knew exactly, and we have people in the news industry who said, well, I didn't know who he was, when there's parties welcoming him from his release from prison. I mean, it's unbelievable.
And they're saying that the number of victims are in the thousands. And
oh, it's believable. It's believable. It's not unbelievable to me. It's not unbelievable to me. It's very believable, right? See, because they expend more resources to go and prosecute Khalid Browders who didn't actually do anything on the streets of New York. Because you got Democrats and Republicans that made a police state and catching slaves. That's why I was thinking about Khalid Browder this weekend, because he was a kid. They didn't grab him off the street, and they're spending more time prosecuting him, trying to get him to cop a plea at 16, throwing him in with the Rikers gang unit, getting other kids to beat the hell out of him. So he'd cop a plea and say he stole a book bag he didn't steal. They didn't put more resources into prosecuting Khalid Browder, but more judges, more lawyers. than they did. They'll do it more to catch a slave off the street than they will for this guy, right? And why? Is because they need your votes. That's why. That's really what it comes down to. They want to keep the system going. They don't want it to stop. You can step up and want to stop. I'm not sure about how much more I can watch, because this is gonna get to me. It's gonna get to me. It's gonna get to me. I try to keep things light. The bottom line is, I think that I'll post it. You can watch the whole thing. The bottom line is, this can't stay, people. We can't keep voting for this world. You can't keep voting for this model. You got to have a heart. At some point in time, you got to melt the ice out of your veins and let some warm blood flow. There are children who were hurt and they need your assistance, right? The psychopaths who did this, they just moved to the next island. They want to stay in power and keep it going. Don't let them clean it up. Keep making the memes. Keep pushing. You know, but as far as America goes, you can't have these power structures anymore. You got to get back to some sort of condition where you got a Bill of Rights, a Constitution, or something. We have none of that. All of the people in bed with this Epstein and at the tops of the political parties, they're all in bed with the Federal Reserve and these big corporations. That's why I said you got to end the Fed. You got to hit them where it hurts. You got to hit them where it hurts. And where does it hurt? They want to stay in power. They want to keep the money. You got to take the money and the power. The whistleblowers has still not appeared in the wait, somebody's talking about whistleblowers. Whistleblowers are important. I always trust the whistleblower. I believe the whistleblower until they're proven that it's false. I believe the whistleblower. The whistleblowers has still not appeared in the impeachment investigations. Harley, well, you know what? I'm gonna accept that comment because I can't stand the impeachment. I don't even want to talk about impeachment. I have not followed it. They say it's day 3 or something like that, or day 2, whatever it is. I have not seen. I'm on day -7 because I don't really care. I don't care at all. I don't care about taking down the right side of the oligarchy, the left and the right side of the oligarchy. It all has to go. It's all slavery. It's all a plantation. All of it has to go. The model has to change. But you know what, Harley? But we're going to talk about that for a minute. They try to impeach everybody. To me, impeachment is a dog and pony show. They're not really trying to impeach them. They're all in bed together. They're all in bed in this big, massive, whatever the hell this is of a fake government, right? They're all in bed, and those who aren't in bed, still in bed. They may not be touching nobody, but they're in bed. They're all in it together. So they'll do this to kind of keep people focused on that. And maybe the impeachment thing is just about getting people to not pay attention to Epstein, right? They always, cue Hollywood. They don't have Michael Jackson no more, so they can't cue Michael Jackson touch somebody, but they can sure cue impeachment. And this will get the full, we gotta stop the racism, stop them. with the racist political party called the Democrats. It's the funniest thing I've ever. No, it's not funny. It's sad, actually. It's real sad. That's why I don't want to talk about it. It's sad that this is what we've become after 34 generations of not swinging in trees and being monkeys. This is the best we can do right now. I have an issue with that. Supreme Court sessions cost $150,000 each. One of them, preparation, staff, security, media, blah, blah, blah. $150,000 for a fake court that didn't turned on the people a long time ago. I'm against every Supreme Court proceeding that we have. They didn't read the Constitution. They didn't really read the Bill of Rights. They don't really care about it. They don't have to read it because they're not under it anymore, because it's admiralty law and the Constitution was suspended. So it's not for me. So y'all spending my tax dollars on nonsense. Yeah, that's stupid. You got homeless people. You got people who live in tent cities, ain't got no food. You can take that $150,000, use it for something important. That's some people lying in robes, working for the 13 families. I don't believe in their world anymore. I've been asked the same question for a long time. Where's Ghislaine? She's on an island, Ivana, with a Mai Tai, feet kicked up. Probably got a security detail that came right from the federal government, the United States and Britain. Probably got submarines and ships protecting her, make sure she's safe. And I'm sure she has food being brought to her with little pink umbrellas on it. I'd almost guarantee it. Because these people all work together. It's only unbelievable to people who think we still have stuff like democracy and rule of law. Exactly, Patricia. And there are a lot of people who believe. There are millions of people who still believe in this system. Like I said, I think, we're diverging. Like, society's diverging the two, because I can't even have a conversation anymore with people who believe in it. It's so hard because we're just comparing apples and oranges. They believe all of this nonsense and I don't. But we're diverging. But it's a good thing though. I think we're moving forward. So yeah, Prince Andrew, I didn't even hear what he had to say. I don't think I heard what he had. I don't think I care. I don't think I care. You know him, you shouldn't be a prince no more. You should be a pauper. You should be under a prison, but you damn sure shouldn't be in power. Is it possible that people who know Epstein didn't actually do anything? It is very possible. However, because I'm a father and there are little girls who I view as my nieces and nephews and my little sisters, and I think it takes a village to raise a child, I have to take the position of, if you even know Epstein, you can't be in power anymore. I got to take that position because I'm not going to take a chance. I'm not going to take a chance. Jesse Ventura, the U.S. has interfered in Latin America. Right, we've never stopped. That's all we do. We blow up countries that have more freedom than we have on our plantation. That's how we stay in power. Why Canada won't back Bolivia's new president? Well, because Canada sells weapons and arms and destructive devices and big massive metal machines that go around in the world and murder people the same way we do. They have central banking like we do. They're a part of the whole system, and Canada's not going to turn on America hegemony more than a whistleblower will come out of the NSA and say anything true, or the CIA or anything. They're not going to do it because the people are the problem. Until the people stand up for what's true and protect whistleblowers, I expect Canada to go right along with it. You're talking about the most powerful people on this planet. The people who own nations and own militaries. They will burn nations to stay in power. I think we have to really just process that for a minute. We have a world that's so jacked up, that's so upside down, that they will burn entire nations on the news to get you to not focus on Epstein and their relationships with him. That's what you're talking about. That's who these people are. Let me see. Larry King says, too soon for Bernie and Warren president. All right, so I'm definitely not gonna click on that. I showed you the whole thing. I'm not interested. I don't have a champion. I don't know why you do. Why would you have a champion and you know that the Coliseum is into child trafficking? Why would you have a champion in that system? How does that make any sense? Until we know who is who and who owns what and what powers with what, we need to stop with the champions. You need to stop picking slave masters. Hillary Clinton wants death sentence for Tulsi Gabbard. What? Entertainment. It's all entertainment. Hillary, that's the funniest thing. A Clinton would want death for anybody else. Boy, that can go in so many different places. I know, and it bothers you because you voted for her. It doesn't bother me. I ain't vote for her. I knew who they were a long time ago. You got the guy won't pay child support. What's the guy's name? Clinton's son. He got half a dozen, half mixed kids all over Arkansas. Nah. People like that, they don't have a heart. If you don't have a heart, you shouldn't be in power anywhere. If you don't give a damn about your own kids, your own DNA, and yeah, they don't care. These people don't care. They're psychopaths. Humans have shipped transmissible cancer around the world. Of course we have. And most of the time it's CIA, and they took some of it and they put it in that needle, put it in Bob Marley's shoe, according to the CIA whistleblower. So yeah, of course we do. Well, we make cancer. Cancer is a business. It literally is a business. They're not trying to cure it. They don't want to cure it. You can stop donating because you're just giving the money to pharmaceutical companies to come up with treatments to deal to keep people with cancer alive. They're not trying to cure cancer. They're trying to keep you alive with a big tumor right here. That's what they want. They want you to have a big tumor right here. They don't want you to die and keep you alive and sell you drugs, because that's the little evil world we live in. It's always about money and power. Journalists must report with global, not U.S. perspective. Journalists must report with global, not U.S. perspective. Let's see. Well, the media is important. The media is why we can't stand our family and friends. This is why they act silly and stupid, because they believe the media. So maybe this might be important. Let's see what this is.
These dancing lights around me are produced by fireflies, creatures that have the strange ability to produce light. They bioluminesce. Many animals, including sharks, insects, and strange creatures from the deep, produce their own light. This groundbreaking film will venture into the soil beneath our feet, into
So with all this talk of impeachment, and the state of journalism, I brought in my friend and colleague Rick Sanchez, host of The News with Rick Sanchez. How the tables have turned, right? But you actually spoke with Larry King last night, and you're going to be speaking with him again today. I want to play this clip because it talks about where people are getting their news nowadays. Take a look.
What we have today in media, Rick, and that's a good quote, is we have one network devoted exclusively to the right, one network exclusively to the left, one network that says it's in the center, but CNN has drifted left. So the way we get our news is RT, or we get our news from CBS, ABC, NBC at the appropriate half hour in the evening.
All right, Rick, so you and I both have journalism degrees. We won't argue of who went to the better school now, but what is the state of journalism? Where are we at today?
Well, but let me just say, MINNESOTA, Minnesota.
Purdue.
Go Gophers. Okay, both Big Ten schools, by the way.
Go Boilers.
You know, this is really the right time and the right question. And it has a lot to do with what Larry was just referring to, the state of journalism. Larry and I both worked at CNN, and I challenged him a little bit on what CNN's role is today, or what its perceived role is. But maybe as somebody who now works here, and by the way, I've never had a chance to welcome you officially, but we're so glad you're here. There it is. Maybe now, Farron, we look at it from a global perspective, and it's not like I want to be critical of my colleagues. I have dear friends who work at CNN, who I still talk to this day. I have dear friends who work at Fox News and at NBC. I worked at all three places, and like you, I worked in local, and I understand what it's like to really get the foundation of what it is that we're supposed to do. Here's the problem. Here's the problem that we have today, and I hope I can make people at home understand this. The problem with journalism today, and I know it's kind of sloganeering, is when we say it is time to do news again, and when we say that we should question more, it's not just a slogan. It's really true. And I'm gonna bring it to life with the stories that we're talking about now. Let's take the impeachment of the president, right? Obviously, the president either did something very corrupt or very stupid when he went to a foreign leader and asked him for a favor. He probably should not have done that. Is it impeachable? I don't know. It's up to people smarter than me and who are sitting in the right seats to make that decision. But what's the next question, right? Because the Dems, for example, are making a huge deal out of this Ukraine thing. Can I ask you a question that I think the average person at home would ask themselves? Who's closer to Ukraine, the United States or Russia?
Russia.
Thank you.
On a map, yes.
Who's closer to the South China Sea, China or the United States?
China.
Yeah. Who's closer to, let's say, Venezuela, South America or the United States?
South America.
The questions that we need to start asking ourselves as American journalists is to look at these situations, these stories from a global perspective, and we don't do that. And it's frustrating because maybe when you get to work in a place like this, you start asking those questions, because the foundational question, as my friend Chris Hedges said yesterday on the air, Pulitzer Prize winner, New York Times reporter, probably one of the best writers in our country, when it comes to this kind of thing is, do we cover a story superficially and just say, oh my God, look what the president may have done? Or do we say, but wait a minute, didn't George Bush instigate a war that ended up in the deaths of hundreds of thousands of people? Didn't Barack Obama use drone warfare to essentially kill an American citizen without due process? Why weren't those questionable actions that should have been impeached as well? So when you stretch beyond just the paradigm of the story you're dealing with and you start asking other questions, then you realize that that's real journalism. My problem with journalists in America today, my dear colleagues who I very much respect for their work, is they've put themselves in this bubble, right? And they don't go outside of that box to ask other questions that may give us a better understanding of why some of the things that we're doing may be right or may be wrong.
And I
gotta pause. Love Sanchez to death, but as he questions his guild, we need to question ours. Okay? I don't blame journalists. I don't blame journalists at all. It's not their fault. They are us. They are us. They give us what we want to hear. You want to hear bigotry, and that's why they give it to you. They did, because you only tune in if they put it in a way that makes you feel good about your damn self. That's the problem is us, it's not them. Like I say all the time, we don't watch news where a guy is standing there, well, it's gonna rain today and some snow might come. I'm not sure what's gonna happen. We watched the guy flapping in the wind, yelling and screaming, the white people did it, the white people did it. They're changing the weather, they're killing everybody. We'll tune into that because that's what you believe. They'll tell it to you how you want to hear. Oh, the poor people, they're destroying the weather because they're poor. And they blame somebody. Russia done did it. And you tune into that. So I don't blame them at all. I don't blame the journalists at all. They give us exactly what we want. When you actually no longer believe this nonsense and you don't tune in, they can't make a career lying to you. Right now, the network requires a lie. Why? Because that's what a network is. It's a business. They got a return on investment. They got advertising to sell. They sell more advertising if more people tune in. So they got the black people news, they got the white people news, they got the Christian people news, they got the American news, they got the left news, the right news. They got news for everybody. Any way you want to shake it, twist it, turn it, shake it, lie about it, spin it. They got something for you. Why? Because we are the problem. We are indoctrinated. We're not mystics, we're mistakes. Okay? We're not mystics, we're mistakes. You were a mistake at birth and you let your mommy and daddy make more of a mistake out of it. You are an independent, free will human being that needs to think for themselves and question everything. And when you question everything, you don't tune into lies. That's why I haven't watched ABC, CNN, NBC, Fox. I haven't watched any of them in probably almost a year. Maybe 2. I don't know. I can't tell the last time I tuned in. I might seen a clip of something here or there. I don't tune in. I'm not interested in people who are lying to me. I'm not going to sit down and play cards with people that only have half the cards. Only going to show the cards that make me feel good about my lying, indoctrinated mistake of a self. All right, so I appreciate a journalist talking about the problems with journalism, but we as people got to talk about the problem with us. Yes, I changed my shirt. Deborah's cold in here.
I'll tell you, Rick, as a friend and a colleague, I've never asked you what side of the political spectrum you're on, but the beauty that I love, and it's that true form of journalism, every single night I can't tell. There's nights where I'm like, oh, he's probably a Republican. And then there's nights where I'm like, oh, he's definitely a total liberal. But then there's times where I'm like, I just don't know. And you know what?
That's what we're supposed to be.
That is how it's supposed to be. And that's one of the things that I will say is.
But people will hate you if that's you. I'm telling you, they hate you. All these people hate me. They don't know what to do with half the time because you don't know what I am. Because I don't fit in your categories. And hopefully you don't fit in their categories. They're always trying to figure out who you are. And if they don't know who you are, if you don't pick a team in the ignorant sides, then you can actually be a free will person. You can be an independent person. You can be a critical thinker. Don't fit in the teams because all the teams are ignorant.
Is when but at the same time, these cable news networks, for example, like Fox, where they're gonna lean towards those Republicans because that's what they want to hear.
Exactly.
Because they're thinking that's money. But I feel like people are a little woke now. And it's like, you know what? Just give me the news straight. And that's what I feel exactly like what you do.
No, they're not. They're not. They ain't no people know. Nope. Nobody's enlightened. No one knows. The vast majority of people want to be lied to. The vast majority. Why? Because the system is phenomenal at creating indoctrinated fools. So I don't know, young lady, your name, but I don't agree with that at all. I think the majority of my friends are heading towards enlightenment. They want to be enlightened. I want to be enlightened. I don't think I am enlightened. I live in America, so I'm still indoctrinated in different places, but I want to learn what I don't know. But I think the vast majority of people still want to be lied to. Why? Because the vast majority of networks are still lying. That's how I know. The vast majority of journalists that lying still got audiences. Right, the bishops and the pastors and the priests and everything, they got all their followers right in place. When people want to be enlightened, they're gonna be mad as hell. That's what I'm gonna tell you. Because you know what? That's the first thing that happens to you. When you really start to look at the truth of how all this stuff works, you mad as hell. Mad as hell. And you don't want to take it no more. The only reason I laugh is because I think I can't do anything about it. I laugh because I think, like with my friends, we realize that most people consent to this. And if you don't cry, you'll laugh. If you don't cry, you'll laugh. But your first response is to be outraged. And it's never at the other race of people, it's never at the other religion, it's never at the other nation, it's at the system. When you realize at the core the model is broken. So, yeah, I don't agree. I don't think people awaken.
Do it because people don't want to have their leanings and their spins on it. It's just real news.
And it comes with,
But they
first
don't
of
want
all,
real
you
news.
do need to have, I believe, and this is, my particular bias. I think somebody on television should have a foundation of what journalism is. Journalism, like medicine and like law and like everything else, comes with some foundational elements that have to do with a bevy of things that we all understand. And I think that's important. The other thing that matters is experience. That's why, sitting down and talking with a guy like Larry King, sitting down and talking with someone like Chris Hedges,
Legends.
That's foundational experience. That tells you the way journalists are supposed to behave. And unfortunately, what we see today in journalism is a bias toward a specific ideology and oftentimes even a bias toward a particular politics. And that is not good for any democracy. And I think when Larry said, and you just...
It's not democracy. It's not, it's not what this is. It is not good for democracy, but it is extremely beneficial for an oligarchy. We do not have a democracy. There's nothing democratic in here. They don't even count the votes. They could care less. We have an oligarchy. The entire political system is for politics. It's for money and power. That's what it's all about. It's about who you can turn on and steal from. That's what an oligarchy is. Plato said there's only two ways to take down that. Well, Plato said there's only one way to take down an oligarchy. Right? And that was revolution, which I don't agree with. But I agree with that in his day. Because they didn't have mass media. We have mass media now. We have an internet now. We have history now where we can sit back and say, you know what? This thing collapses if I stop tuning into lies. This thing collapses if I stop believing it. There are only two ways to take it down, but we don't have a democracy. If we have a democracy, then I would say we need to go vote, right? Because that's what a democracy is. This is a republic that became a pseudo-democracy, that became a corporatocracy, but now is a full-blown plantation oligarchy. It is run by corporations, and the politicians are the whipping boys. All right? They don't believe, like one of the things I posted the other day, I don't know what it was, is politicians, political people and politicians, they don't give two damns about your race. They just use your race. They don't give two damns about your religion. They just use your religion. They know you do, so they use it as a tool. They don't actually care even about your nation. They care about power and money, what they can get from it and who they can abuse by making you a fool using your emotions. That's why they use your group. Okay? Your group is a tool. Stop being an emotional tool for politicians and politics. All they care about is politics. It's about what you can get based on who you turn on and how much money you can get from a corporation for turning on them. But you got so many emotional people out there that still believe this nonsense.
Heard him say it, and obviously nobody puts words in Larry King's mouth, right? When he says it's unbelievable that you have to go to RT to find out what's really going on when it comes to news.
That says a lot.
It says a lot, and it should make us feel good, but we're only as good as what we're going to do tonight.
Right.
Because yesterday doesn't matter anymore, and that's what drives us. And tonight when I have my conversation with Larry King about politics, it'll be interesting to hear what he thinks is going to happen and how this is going to play out, and that's what's coming up tonight on the News with Rick Sanchez.
All right, that's a beautiful thing Rick just said. Yeah, did you get what he said? Yesterday doesn't matter. Yesterday doesn't matter. Yesterday don't mean nothing. It don't matter at all. Doesn't matter who you were yesterday. Nobody cares. People don't even remember. Doesn't matter if you were a Democrat yesterday. Doesn't matter if you were a Republican yesterday. Doesn't matter if you were a conservative. Doesn't matter if you were in any of the ignorant groups. Nobody cares. All they care about is what you do today. Today. You can change anytime you want. I feel like I'm in church sometimes. You can come to Jesus. Come on down to the altar. You can change anytime you want. You can actually rejoin the human race and give a damn about the truth more than your subhuman group. You can change any day this makes sense to you. Any day you start to see how the matrix works, you can take that red pill and just slide down the tube of goo into the pile of human poo and decaying human beings and have Morpheus come and lift you out. Any day you can. It's your choice. Yesterday doesn't matter. Yesterday, we care about fixing the world for tomorrow. That should be the most important thing. Every species on this planet has got one main obligation, and that is to make sure that the next generation is better off than this generation. So yesterday doesn't matter. All that matters is today you grow the hell up. You pull your pants up And your trousers, whatever they may be, your dress, whatever that, doesn't matter. And we act like we got some damn sense. And we say rape is rape. It's bad. It doesn't matter if it's a Democrat or Republican did. It doesn't matter if it's a white, black, Christian, whatever. If you rape somebody, we got a problem with you. If you destroyed someone's country, we got a problem with you. If you're lying to us, we got a problem. We're trying to have an honest card game. But we got to put everything on the table. You got to stop bringing criminals into the card game. You got to stop playing cards with people who only bring in part of the deck because they're playing you. All right. Anything else important in here? We do comments and get out of here. Egypt buys Russian warplanes. U.S. threatened sanctions. Right. Well, I'm not interested in the psychopaths' wars on the American side or the psychopathic Russian side. Human beings live in Egypt, human beings live in Russia, and human beings live in America. That's all I give a damn about. As far as you trying to kill them and steal what they have, or you sending them weapons to help gain power in that region, that's psychopathic. We need to stop that. Humans, if you had the cancer, right? Cancer's an industry. Journalism, we did that. Vaping ban, what? Would allow more time for research. The doctors say. Well, number one, there's no such thing as a Hippocratic oath that doctors have, okay? It's a human oath. It's a sentient oath to do no harm. Do no harm is a human oath. It is someone who's discovered sentient, someone who's enlightened. They will never do harm. They won't join up with a group that's doing harm because they're saying that there's some good that's gonna come out of it. So, but as far as vaping ban, you can't ban vaping. Human beings have a right to do what the hell they want to do. Stop telling other people what to do. You always think you're right, you're never right. Besides, it is their constitutional right. And one of the reasons we're here is because we stopped with a government. We stopped having a government that followed a constitution or bill of rights. Fed printing money is an unsustainable system. Ben Swan, of course it is Ben Swan. That's why America's about to collapse. The currency is going to collapse, and when it does, the price of bread is going to go to $20 a loaf, and then really interesting things are going to happen. Zombies are going to start walking. They just won't be after your brains, they'll be after your food. Great Depressions always come. That's why your grandparents always had a pantry. Bad times always come. You're either preparing for them, or you need to be sharpening your spears. Because the government don't give two damns about you. They're going to go underground in their bunkers. They're going to be warm and cozy with their swimming pools. And slaves they have from around the world, and the pedophile things that they do with all the kid slaves that they have down there. That unfortunately is this. The Epstein people will make it. The Epstein enterprise will be fine. They're going to do well in the bunkers. You're going to be up here with starving people fighting off zombie attacks. If we don't change the world, if we don't change the power structures. Let me see. Chinese official attacked in the UK as HK Hong Kong violence spreads. Hong Kong wants to be separate. There should be no violence. Let my people go. That's the bottom line. People don't want to be held in captivity, then you should not be holding them, whether it's in a basement or in borders. If people don't want to be captive, you need to let them go. That's what sentient people say. I'm sorry. That's just that's what I believe. I believe that there's no difference in putting people in cages that are immigrants, no different in putting children from New York who were 16 grabbed on the streets, thrown in cages, and having human beings in cages in Hong Kong. I don't believe in you controlling other people. The way we got our news is RT. Yep, that's the way I get my news for the most part. But I only believe the bits that make comment that seem like they make some sense to me. Impeachment update, I don't care. MSM crush Adam Taylor. I don't know who Adam Taylor is, and I don't really care. I think it's stupid. The problem is the model, and I'm not going to let you refocus me on something that's a side effect argument because you want to keep the system. You just want to take over the oppression slavery engine, so you want to get rid of that president instead of change the model. Don't give two damns. Fentanyl dealer charged with murder. Yeah, well, I agree with that, but I think the dealers of all the synthetic drugs that kill people should be charged. That's mostly the pharmaceutical industry. So yeah, I think they should be charged and taken out of power. Chris Hedges, my brother from another mother. Appreciate Chris. Why school shootings are no longer in the news? Ooh, we're gonna have to watch that. We gotta watch, because we were asking that question the other day, and I always appreciate Chris's perspective. Why? Because he worked in the prison system, and he knows the worst that what the Republicans and Democrats have done in this country with their police state. The Black Caucus and their crime bill that you say that doesn't make any lives matter.
This is the news with Rick Sanchez.
And good evening.
Hang on. You judge a nation by those who are worst off, and those who are worst off are usually women and people in prison, and children. That's why we need to listen to this.
On this newscast tonight, Larry King will join us, and he will share with us a historical and personal perspective on impeachments in America. And then something very curious is now taking place in Bolivia, which may best be described as a revolt against the revolt. We're going to explain that for you, but we're going to begin with what happened this morning in California. This is it. Look at this video. It's a 15-year-old boy who he woke up in California, dressed himself in black, according to reports, and then proceeded to go to his school, where witnesses say he opened fire on his own classmates. He got 5 of them. 2 are dead. That story will likely have a shelf life of about, 24 hours. By tomorrow, few will even mention this story. Why? Because what that teenager did has become so routine in America, it's actually lost its shock value. Yes, a random mass shooting is now like baseball and apple pies, an American staple. It's difficult to measure just how many more times this type of thing happens in America than anywhere else in the world. Why? Well, because everybody has a different way of measuring what a mass shooting actually is. The FBI says it has to be a shooting where 4 people are killed, which means if 20 people are shot, but only 3 are killed, it's not a mass shooting. Others measure mass shootings simply by how many people were injured or how many shots were fired or intent. So for the sake of argument, let's just look at the trend here in the United States. Let's see what's happening in our own country, where research seems to show that there are more mass shootings than there are days in the year. Now, for the first time ever, here's the number as of September 1st, 244th day of the year, there were 283 mass shootings. This is according to data compiled by the Gun Violence Archive, which tracks every mass shooting and defines a mass shooting as one where there are at least 4 people who were shot. Here's some other very...
See, I don't really care whether it's mass or not. Doesn't matter to me. Every life is valued. Every life has an extreme value. Every life is meaningful, so it doesn't matter to me if you shoot 4 people or 1. The bottom line is, do you live in a nation that's actually doing anything about it? That's the only question. Or you live in a nation that's still like promoting politicians that are being bribed by the pharmaceutical industry that's driving people insane to shoot them. Are you in support of political parties that are actually rolling out the legislation, creating artificial scarcity, creating the environments, whether it's extreme wealth or extreme poverty, that makes for more mass shootings, based on what the behavioral scientists say? See, I don't really care if it's mass or not. All I care about is somebody died and if we're doing something about it. And we're not. Why? Because you're fighting over gun control and they're fighting over gun rights, and nobody's giving a damn about what we're doing about the trafficking of weapons in other nations. And so we do tank mass shootings every day. We do drone mass bombings every day. And so because you got like all the different levels of apathy and measuring what is bad and how bad is, one life is all that matters. That's it. If one life is lost, we need to make changes, and nobody wants to make changes when one life is lost because it's not news. But they've normalized it. And very few people question as to why.
American statistical highlights. We as Americans own 50% of all the guns owned by civilians in the entire world. 56%. We as Americans own more guns per capita than the citizens of any country in the world. And as far as gun homicide rates go, ours are 25% higher than that of any other developed country.
And we should. We have a central banking cartel of a cabal that owns our nation. They've suspended our Constitution and our Bill of Rights. Our people are not free. They're grabbed off the street. They're thrown in cages and prisons, and they're shot dead for selling cigarettes. They're shot dead for letting their cattle graze. They are shot dead for creating sustainable communities that the local governments don't like. Waco, Texas. All right? Everybody should be armed. So I'm completely against. Unfortunately, I came from a history of slavery like everybody else. And all slavery was just a time where somebody had guns the wealthy did, and you did not. So they came to your country and they worked with the wealthy in your country and they grabbed a lot of slaves. So yeah, I'm not interested at all in people being disarmed. I have no issue with the gun. We don't have a gun ownership problem. We got a psychopathic problem of you cheering a government that's creating mass shooters out of little children. That's the problem, all right? So I'm not worried about the guns. The guns aren't the problem. The people are the problem. And the root problem of that comes from politicians, because they can only make money. They can only get a great retirement if they sell the people out to massive corporations. And that's why both Democrats and Republicans did it. That's why Trump does it. That's why Obama did it. Bush did it. Clinton did it. They all do it because they all want a good retirement. And the only way to do that is to sell out to the corporations. The corporations and banks sold you out a long time ago because they bought your nation and suspended your constitution. Why they suspend your constitution? Because you can't make money when 300 million people have rights to freedom. You need captive customers. You make most profit from captive customers. And so they put one side, the left against the right, and they're just taking everything home. It's a stacked game of cards, and everybody's still playing. And so that's why we are here. That's why we're here today. I can see what Chris Hedges has got to say. Now,
though, to be fair, the homicide rates in very low-income countries in Central and South America are higher than ours. It doesn't mean that this type of thing doesn't happen elsewhere. Just today, as a matter of fact, there was a shooting at a university in Russia.
Of course.
With a hunting rifle.
And it was probably an American gun.
It's about frequency. The frequency is nowhere near what we are experiencing here in our own country. So what happened in California? Why has this type of story lost its shock value? And what does that say about us as a country?
We're in a decaying
Important
empire.
questions. This is the news with Rick Sanchez, where we believe
that's why we have a police
it's time
state.
to do news again.
Rome is falling, and when Rome is falling, you have massive scarcity. You got massive scarcity. You got very violent people who take drugs to get up and deal with.
Here is the list of the questions we think you'll be asking tomorrow. How does Chris Hedges explain America's acceptance of mass shootings? What does Larry King have to say about the media and impeachments from a historical standpoint? Another world summit fizzles. Do they even matter anymore?
Nope.
But let's begin with this. Let's start off our A block tonight with the latest out of California. What do we now know about what really happened in Saugus High School in Santa Clarita this morning when a 16-year-old, say police, decided to try and kill his own classmates? Here now is RT correspondent Brigida Santos reporting from California.
A 16-year-old Asian male student is in custody, being treated at a local hospital after shooting 5 students and then turning the gun on himself. At least 2 students have died, including a 16-year-old female and a 14-year-old male. Early this morning, around 7:30 a.m. local time, the suspect reportedly pulled a .45 caliber semi-automatic pistol from his backpack before opening fire in a squad at Saugus High School in Santa Clarita. LA County Sheriff Alex Villanueva says the suspect is in grave condition, suffering from a self-inflicted gunshot wound to the head. The weapon used in the shooting has been recovered from the scene, and it did not contain any more rounds. Here's what else he had to say.
I hate to have Saugus be added to the names of Columbine, Parkland, Sandy Hook, but it's a reality that affects us all throughout the nation, something we're gonna have to deal with.
Santa Clarita is a nice suburban middle-class neighborhood where things like this are not supposed to happen. But in America, school shootings are a sad reality that no neighborhood is immune from. Parents dropping their children off at school first thing this morning described the scene to reporters, saying kids could be found huddled together crying. Other parents received phone calls and text messages from their kids during the shooting. They barricaded themselves in a classroom. Students also warned their siblings not to come to school and instructed them to call 911. Police SWAT teams responded quickly to the scene, surrounding the area and placing other local schools on lockdown. They're now looking into allegations that the suspect may have posted threats on social media beforehand, and they're obtaining a search warrant for his home. At this hour, police have yet to identify a potential motive. In Los Angeles, Brigida Santos, RT.
Let's talk a little more about this with Chris Hedges. He's probably one of the most respected real journalists in the United States. He's also won a Pulitzer Prize, and oh, by the way, he has a book out that's called America, the Farewell Tour. So he is really the perfect person to talk to about what seems to be happening in America, where this kind of dysfunctional behavior and the acceptance of it seems to be prevalent. How do you explain this, Chris? The fact that this young man would do something like this, and I guarantee you, tomorrow we're hardly going to be talking about it.
Yeah, you're exactly right, Rick. Well, the last book that I wrote, America, the Farewell Tour, draws on the studies by the sociologist Emil Durkheim, his own book on suicide, and he asks what drives individuals and societies to carry out self-destructive acts of self-annihilation. And in the book, he writes about people who carry out gratuitous killings, people who have a lust for violence, and I write a chapter with these white supremacist groups, the Proud Boys, the Three Percenters, and Durkheim argues that those who seek the annihilation of others are driven by feelings of self-annihilation. And I don't think it's accidental that almost all of these mass shooters, whether they're in schools, whether they're in shopping malls, concert venues, places of work, are almost always white males. And it is about what Durkheim calls anomie, the rupture of social bonds, atomization, alienation, a loss of community, a loss of a sense of purpose, people who feel shunted aside by the society. And then, of course, we have easy access to weapons, which there was one mass shooting in Britain, I think it was even in a school, and they imposed draconian gun laws, which we don't have because of the gun lobby. So you have an access to weapons and a glorification of violence within American culture. We've always been a very violent country, that sense of empowerment, the way we fetishize weapons themselves, it all feeds in to this kind of social disintegration, cultural disintegration. I argue in the book that it's linked to the opioid crisis, to gambling, to all of these behaviors, all of these self-destructive pathologies, of which mass shootings, as you correctly pointed out at the top of the broadcast, make our country sadly extremely unique in terms of the numbers are just staggering.
What do we do, though, in terms of how we deal with it? I am frankly bothered as an American that stories like this become passé in less than 24 hours. Mass shootings become passé. Just to hear myself say that seems bizarre. Is it the media's fault? Is it a political issue? What are we doing wrong?
If you vote for people who create a society that as a model requires scarcity, PTSD, poisoning its population, and a lack of freedom. A society that requires people be in conflict with one another for everything. If you keep voting for that model, get used to mass killings. Get used to them, get used to them, get used to them, okay? They're gonna become normalized. They're gonna happen at an increased rate. You can go after the guns. You can do anything you wanna do. If you keep voting for a model that's based in human conflict, humans are gonna do what humans do. When those warrior genes kick in, they're gonna survive. They're gonna survive. If they need attention because mommy and daddy aren't around, if they need food because food ain't around, if they need water because that ain't around, if their brains are being poisoned by nanoparticles and lithium sprayed out of the sky and metals in the food, they're gonna do what humans do. This is a human farm. We are being farmed. If you continue to vote for the farm that's creating mass killings by bulls that go crazy, you're gonna continue to get it. That's the bottom line.
Well, I think I would argue that what we're doing wrong is we're not looking at the dislocations, the disenfranchisement, the alienation, the kind of renting of the social fabric that drives a segment of our population to carry out this kind of behavior. That's never discussed.
No.
And I think that is a failure of the media. The media is reactive. It looks for dramatic footage. But, you know, I covered, for instance, the war in the former Yugoslavia, and we got what we called Balkan fatigue. I mean, they're just another shot of wounded from Serbian shell fire in Sarajevo just didn't have the same kind of impact that it had had months earlier. And so, but I think that's, of course, very frightening, as you correctly point out. We've come to accept it as part of the national narrative. But I think the big problem within the media is we have not examined what it is that is driving so many of our citizens to carry out this kind of murderous rampage, especially against students. I mean, school shootings have become normalized within the United States, and that should tell us that something is deeply, deeply wrong, deeply sick about American society. But that is a question we never ask, and that is a sickness we never examine.
Well, it's a question we never ask, but it's an answer we already got. The neuroscientists and behavior scientists already told us that. The Dr. James Fallon's already told us that. We literally are playing cards in a society where the deck is stacked. We're literally playing cards with people who make profit from mass shootings. They sell the guns, they sell the bullets, they sell the pharmaceuticals, and we blame the children and the guns. We know that kids don't have frontal lobes until they're 26. And we don't do anything about it. That's where we are. That's where we are. So yeah, who's it? Megan said it's all by design. It's all by design. And when you can finally accept that all the scarcity and the violence is by design, then you can think about what do we do about it. But until then, you're just a part of it. I was a part of it. I was completely a part of it. And until I started to want to wake up. And when I wanted to wake up, it meant I need to turn my back on all the things I was indoctrinated to believe, because it's the system that needs human conflict so that we're in conflict with one another and not with a model that holds all the power and money trained me to. So, another thing Beaufont said, you own land, you're gonna have violence. Agreed. If you have land ownership, you will have violence. Why? Because we are an ecosystem and everything needs that land. You will always have problems when you give people ownership over things that nobody can own. Nothing can own. The deer need it, the bees need it, the birds need it, and other humans need to eat from it. We have to become a sharing world. We have to finally do the things that Christ said, the things that natural law says, the things that the Buddhas have said. We have to discover sentience and go in that direction of consciousness. I think we also need more community. I think this helps kids a lot too. It's hard for a lot of kids to make friends when they have anxiety issues. Right. And Megan, and why would kids have anxiety issues? In one of the wealthiest nations in the world, we should be ashamed of pretty much everything we do. If we live in a society where kids are stressed, if you stress kids out underneath the age of 26, you're not a society. You're some sort of a slave plantation, slave planet. There's no excuse for one of the wealthiest nations in the world that robbed every other nation on the planet to have children that are stressed. That's either people who are in government who are just, they can't tell a rock from a I don't know what else. Or they're just disingenuous as to their purpose. Serial killers are almost white. Serial killers are mostly white U.S. males too. This is true, Lori, and I think there's probably a lot of reasons why that I probably will disagree with, to be honest with you, because most serial killers got 2 feet. Most of them got 2 arms, 2 hands. White skin has absolutely nothing to do with mass shootings, right? It has nothing to do with anything. It's all about the character of a person, right? It's about their environment. It's about what's happening with them. And that happens to everybody, and it's completely agnostic of skin color, although people, they like to promote that in the news. And I think it's pointless. But I think also it's more entertaining for people when it's more of a mass shooting. And maybe certain people have access to more ability to do mass shootings. I grew up in the Washington, D.C. area, and there was a killing almost every day. But they use knives, they use guns. But they don't like to really mention that much anymore. No, I was thinking about, Lori, I was thinking about how come White Lives Matter doesn't really talk about it when it's a white on white killing? How come Black Lives Matter doesn't talk about it when it's a black on black killing? Well, see, that's not as dramatic. And that's really what it comes down to. It's not as dramatic when it's within your group. How come the police blue lives don't matter? How come they don't really get upset when it's a cop killing another cop? Maybe it's because these are political organizations. Maybe because their intent has nothing to do with race, but politics, power, and votes. Maybe. That's why, I don't play the race game. I'm not interested in that deck of cards. To me, it's just political tools. These are all tools, and people are emotional, so they join the groups and they don't really see how they operate. If Black Lives Matter, they would be helping black kids who get shot by other black kids. If White Lives Matter, they'd be in the trailer parks, helping poor white kids. But they don't. It's all drama. It's all drama. It's just like the mass media and everything else. Everything is entertainment. This is all a dog and pony show. These are all political organizations. We stop being human when we stop migrating, stop foraging. That's true, Beaufont. And society changed, right? We went from being agrarian to agricultural based, and then we decided that we own things, right? What we owned, we didn't carry with us, but we owned land. And we pushed the animals off that land we didn't like. We destroyed that ecosystem, and we kept other humans from coming onto that land. We lost it. And when we did that, we had to create societies. We had to create governments. We had to form ways of controlling each other. And we broke ourselves. We are a part of an ecosystem. We need to act like we're a part of an ecosystem. We need to stop owning things. We need to share more. Although it doesn't make sense. It made sense maybe back then because resources were limited. But now we have 3D printing machines. It makes no sense. Anybody can have anything they want. You just got to have a government that wants to give it to you. You have to have a governing body or none that allows you to print the things that you need. But we have a scarcity-based system that keeps you in conflict. And the only way they keep you in conflict is they got to keep things away from you. That keeps prices high and it keeps you at other people's throat, and it gives them more of the power. We'll do last couple comments, and I have to get going. I'm way over my time. But most of these mass shooters are mostly military and children indoctrinated. Some say MK Ultra. And I would believe that hardly makes sense, right? Because when you teach children at the age of 19 in boot camp, or at the age of 10, that violence and force is an answer, that's what they'll use, right? If it's a solution, then that's what they'll use it. If you've got kids who are growing up and they're watching their parents and they're changing their world with voting, they're changing their world with force, which is what voting is, because there's a police state behind that with guns, then guess what? They're going to do the same thing. But when you give a human being a solution, a tool called violence and a gun, then yeah, they're going to use it as a tool to solve problems. And if that kid needed attention or whatever he needed, he went out to solve that problem. And when he was done, he tried to shoot himself. And I think that's kind of how you judge your society. If your children want to go out to school and shoot a bunch of other innocent children and shoot themselves in the head, I'm not interested in blaming the gun owner. I'm not interested in blaming the kid. I'm not interested in blaming the gun manufacturer or the bullet manufacturers. I'm interested in blaming the society whose model is so busted and broken. You take a human being, a child, instead of wanting to go ride a dirt bike, kick a ball, play with his friends. He wants to go shoot up his school. That's a failure of government. That is a failure of the societal model. Starving people into a violence is a bad idea. People running things instead of corporations running things. When I lived in the city, the corner store would let you get things on credit and you could pay them back with no interest. Walmart would never. Yeah, well, Susan, and that was back in the day when the customer was always right. Now the customer isn't right. The customer is always wrong. You know, but besides the fact that if you have corporations running things, then the answer for everything is profit. If it's profitable, it's a good idea. If it's not profitable, it's not. And we did go from corporatocracy to oligarchy, and corporations run everything. And until people blame the corporations, we're in trouble. There's still 60% of the United States. 60% have Amazon Prime accounts. 60% of the nation has Amazon Prime accounts, but they're upset when mass shootings happen and they can't connect the dots. When corporations own your government, you will be in conflict with one another. That's should be simple. Let you get eggs, milk, bread on credit. People care about people. Corporations only care about profit. Exactly, which is why you should have people running things. And eggs, milk, and bread shouldn't cost anything. We know we can do all those things for free. We know we can feed everybody for free. We just don't want to feed everybody for free because, I don't know, some people have more than others. So they don't want you to get it for free. We have robots and automation to do that, and at some point in time, we'll discover that sentience. That's what I think woke AF means, Susan. When somebody realized that we have an automated world that actually we can give everybody everything they need, and we can 3D print houses, cars, and everything that's needed, including food. To me, that's woke AF. That's like enlightenment. That's sentience. That's when you know you're actually getting somewhere with your brain, is when you realize that we have these things and we're just not deploying them because there's something psychopathically dark in the powerful people that run everything. Manifest peace in your daily encounters. Absolutely. Who said that? Lori. Manifest peace and speak to people like you want peace. Don't speak to people like you want war. And please stop speaking to people like you're right. None of us are right. We all think we're right. None of us are right. We just need more data. We need that back. We need our communities back. Everyone needs to get to know their direct neighbors at least. Absolutely, Megan. And that's why I don't really watch the news, because I think it's stupid. I don't really care what the billionaires want me focused on. I want to be focused on what's important. And what's important is what's going on with my neighbors. What's most important is what's happening with my friends. What's most important is what's happening with my kids. What's most important has to stop being what the billionaires' news wants everyone to think is important. This is Gerard. I got to get going. Yes, Kimberly. Infinite love to everybody. Just remember, you're related to everybody out there. Please act like it. Please act like you're all one. You're not separated. We're all these frequency, spiritual creature things in monkey bodies. You got to get past that monkey DNA. It's only 98%. Anyway, happy Monday. This is Gerard. Y'all enjoy slavery. Because I got to do my go pick my cotton. Y'all have a great day. Stop playing cards with stacked decks.